Bugatti is one of the nicest car manufacturers the world has ever seen. They create rare cars where the tens of millions and the most famous people in the world line up to buy them. Floyd Mayweather may be known most for his 27 knockout wins over a 21-year career, but he's also filled up quite the impressive garage. With a current net worth of $450 million, it's unsurprising that he's purchased several Bugattis over the years. In 2016, Mayweather sold a pair of Bugatti Veyrons on eBay that he picked up for $6.5 million. The first was a satin white Grand Sport with just over 1,688 miles on it, which he sold for $2.4 million. It was finished in beautiful pearl white with a white and red leather interior and powered by a W16 8-liter quad turbocharged engine. It has a top speed of 254 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 time of 2.4 seconds. The second one is the satin black Grand Sport Vitesse with 1,041 miles, which he sold for $3.9 million. This one was in satin black with exposed carbon fiber with a black and orange leather interior. This Bugatti is powered by a W16 8-liter quad turbocharged engine and a top speed of 254 miles per hour with a 0 to 60 time of 2.4 seconds. With only 150 Grand Sports built worldwide, this was quite the collector's item before Mayweather picked it up. Of course, he had to get rid of both once he could get his hands on a Bugatti Chiron. He was actually one of the first to purchase the vehicle for $3.5 million. Apparently, he had to pull some strings to get it before anyone else could. If that's not enough, it's been rumored that Mayweather also picked up the latest L'Aboteur Noir. It looks like that one may have been Mayweather's only loss to date because someone else walked away with the most expensive Bugatti known to man. More on that later. What do you buy for your husband when he's Jay-Z? I mean, the man has everything one could possibly want. That's the problem Beyonce found herself in for his 41st birthday, and she came up with the perfect solution. She bought him a Bugatti. Jay-Z is already known for his collection, which includes the likes of a Maybach 62S and a Ferrari F430 Spider. His car collection has been reported to be possibly worth upwards of $15 million. So dropping $2 million on a Bugatti Veyron Grand Sport shows just how much she knows her husband. This one was the classic white finish with black leather interiors. Like all others, this one had 2 doors, a mid-engine, all-wheel drive, and was 7-speed dual-clutch automatic. While this was cool, some questioned why she didn't pick him out the more exclusive Veyron Super Sport. Apparently, even for someone as rich and famous as Beyonce, you have to order these a year in advance. That should tell you the level of exclusivity we're dealing with here. No one takes the over-the-top expectations of being a celebrity more seriously than Drake. A short walk through his $45 million mansion will tell you that much. Well, he takes his car collection just as seriously, with it reported to be at least worth $8 million. One car that is clearly close to the star is his Bugatti Veyron Sang Noir. It isn't hard to see why, considering the fact that only 12 Sang Noirs were ever created. They were available for purchase in 2010 for about $2.2 million. The Sang Noir has an 8-liter quad turbocharged W16 engine, which makes the hypercar run from 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 2.6 seconds. The top speed is just as impressive at 253 miles per hour. So how do I know that this car is so special for Drake? Well, he considers his song Started from the Bottom to be his anthem. His Sang Noir has a license plate that reads Started on it. If that song is the anthem of his life, then this car is what drives that anthem forward. Jeff Bezos is known far and wide for being one of the wealthiest men in history. Well, right behind Elon Musk, who managed to outrace him to the top. As far as car collections go, there's only one way Bezos pulls ahead. He's got a Bugatti Veyron Mansory. When you're worth over $200 billion, buying a Bugatti Veyron Mansory worth around $1.5 million is practically going to the dollar store. It has a top speed of over 250 miles per hour and boasts over 1,000 horsepower. Apparently, only 3 of the special edition were ever made. Looking at Elon's garage, I can't see any Bugattis, so there's at least one win for you, Bezos. Unfortunately, he does have a hypercar that could squeak by on a technicality. For another celebrity who has dipped a toe in Bugatti waters, we have Tesla's Elon Musk, worth over $297 billion. He's got the Navara hypercar, built as a joint venture between Bugatti and electric hypercar startup Rimac. This 1,900 horsepower electric car tops out at 256 miles per hour at a value of $2.4 million. It's no surprise that Musk snatched this car up, considering he is the electric car guy. I'm sure when he heard that this car could go head to head with Bugatti's finest and actually actually win, you know he had to grab it. Of course, this could also be a sneaky bit of market research. Bugatti joining forces with Rimac almost certainly means that an all-electric Bugatti is on the way. This could be a potential problem for the guy whose entire business model is that he made the electric car cool. While the Rimac has a sleek design, it does look a little bit like a giant Hot Wheels car. Its specs may be able to hang with the best of them, but compared to the Veyron, Chiron, or even Tesla's Model S Plaid Plus, to me, the Nevera is lacking. So you remember how I said someone who wasn't Floyd Mayweather Jr. picked up the Bugatti L'Aboteur Noir? This is one of the rarest, most expensive cars ever created. Bugatti has only made one model, and it went to legendary footballer Cristiano Ronaldo for $18 million. I mean, he's worth around $500 million, so this is expensive even for him. Why is this beast of a car so expensive? Bugatti claims that this is a work of art, where each part was handcrafted to perfection. Its exterior is crafted out of rare carbon fiber and finished with a deep black gloss and a hint of chrome. Its headlights are clusters of small LEDs encased in glass that elegantly fit onto the carbon fiber base. There are the tiny details, like how the hood features triangular perforations that highlight the pattern on the engine cover, or the two-tone wheels which use 3D printed brake calipers. It also features a ridiculous 8-liter quad turbocharged W16 engine that can churn out 1500 to 1600 horsepower. That's 0 to 60 miles per hour in less than 3 seconds with a top speed of around 260 miles per hour. They say that it combines the luxury of riding in a limousine with the power of driving, well, a Bugatti sports car. Ronaldo adds one of the rarest cars in the world to his collection that also includes a $1.7 million Bugatti Veyron, a Bentley GT Speed worth over $200,000, and a James Bond-style Aston Martin DB9 worth over $200,000. In 2021, he upped his game again by purchasing the $9.4 million Bugatti Centodieci, of which only 10 were ever built. The Centodieci is capable of accelerating from 0 to 100 miles per hour in around 6 seconds and a top speed of 240 miles per hour. It basically looks like a car you would drive in Cyberpunk 2077, except this car won't randomly glitch out on you. I've covered how awesome the Bugatti Veyron is. Clearly many of the best car collectors in the world agree. So who else is in the Veyron Club? Members include Tom Brady, Tim Cahill, Chris Brown, Nigo, Lil Wayne, Flo Rida, Birdman, Tom Cruise, and even Simon Cowell. There's one that I can't tell if I love or hate the most. Nigo outfitted his Veyron with pink camo. While this does make it pop in a sea of celebrity Bugattis, it also feels like someone took a paintbrush and painted pink camo over the Mona Lisa. It's definitely not as classy as Lil Wayne's gold chrome Bugatti, which made it worth over $2 million. But then again, what could be as classy as that? Of course we were going to feature Jay Leno on this one. He has one of the most legendary car collections in Los Angeles, valued at $52 million. Jay Leno himself is worth $450 million, so this is a pretty solid chunk of his wealth. He has a Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Grand Sport Vitesse, worth $2.25 million, capable of hitting 250 miles per hour. Next to that is a 1993 Bugatti EB110, worth $700,000, capable of 213 miles per hour. Finally, we have the Bugatti Veyron 16.4 Supersport, worth $1.4 million and capable of 267 miles per hour. That's just getting started though. One of his rarest is the 1934 Bugatti Aerolith. There were only a handful ever created. The designs for the car mysteriously disappeared right before Europe descended into turmoil. The car was built as more of a work of art than it was for the road, even if it could reportedly hit over 100 miles per hour. They showed it off all over Europe after it was built, and they're still showing it off today. His oldest Bugatti has got to be the classic 1929 Bugatti Type 49 Grand Sport. Just look at this beauty. I imagine driving it feels like driving down the road in a time machine. Vintage Bugattis like this can be worth over tens of millions. Once again, Leno has more than earned his rep as one of the best car guys in the world. People really don't talk about Ralph Lauren anymore, but he is a pillar of style and taste. The 82-year-old fashion mogul has acquired over $7 billion over the decades of building his brand into a household name. As impressive as that is, it's almost equally impressive that Lauren owns the most expensive car in the world. The 1937 Bugatti Type 57 SC Atlantic isn't just a car that's worth $40 million, it's also a piece of pre-war European history. There are only 2 of these models left in the world. One is in the Mullen Automotive Museum in Los Angeles for $38 million. The other is in Lauren's possession. Even in the 30s, its design was weird. It was originally built with lightweight magnesium alloy, which has been beautifully restored to almost the condition it was roughly 90 years ago. Even though she's an old girl, the car tops off at 125 miles per hour. It is still regarded as one of Bugatti's finest cars and is frequently cited as an inspiration for many of the other cars on this list. The cheapest Bugatti out there is around 1.7 million. So just team up with like 10 of your friends and then you should be able to get it.